Of a vehicle, which everybody knows that every single vehicle here made it into the conference yesterday.
Okay, the first charge was?
Obstructing a vehicle, impeding a vehicle from entering the premises. That's my first charge. The next charge is going to be, as I'm stepping back, and I do have it on videotape, much everybody else from different angles has it.
I have it as well.
I was told that, the magistrate was told by the police officer that I stood there, disregarded the order to move from in front of the vehicle. They had to physically move me. Once they did that, I resisted arrest, but because they're going to be nice to me, instead of resisting arrest, they're going to get me for disorderly conduct.
So that's the story.
That is the second charge that I was charged with last night. And to continue that, as I'm being drug away, two different officers, whoa, smell that alcohol? They start, that's that crowd dropping the hints into the crowd. That starts the Jones effect. It's long been used. You say one thing in a crowd at one end, the telephone game brings it down to the other end. Pretty soon, hey, you remember that drunk guy that got arrested yesterday?
Oh.
That story didn't make it here today.
So what was the actual story? What actually happened?
That's what exactly happened was I was going back and forth between the crosswalk, corner to corner. Every time I would do so, I was filming, just talking. I did not have a bullhorn, anything of the sort. Just yelling, hollering at them, recording. Another vehicle, every time a vehicle was to come up, wow, that got me.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Another vehicle was to come up, I chose right then to cross the road. What I was told at that point is that if you block any vehicles from entering the conference, you're going to be arrested. I kept moving, and I was walking backwards at the time.
Yeah.
And don't walk backwards.
Oh, okay.
You know, and I was walking backwards, and again, corner to corner, every car that came in. The last car, what happened was, there was a 3-car convoy. I got to the third one, the whole crowd came out, right around, we were all getting our pictures. I stepped around, got my shot in the side. As soon as I did that, the other two guys that almost got hit by that same vehicle jumped back. They went around to the right, and I'm still filming, and that's I didn't realize it yesterday until I watched the video last night or 2 this morning, that as soon as I stepped back, I had nobody I thought half the people were behind me. There was nobody behind me. Classic snatch and grab, militarized technique. Isolate one, pick them off, and what happens, even on my videotape from the other videotapes, you see the gentleman come out and the sergeant, I'm backing up, he's telling people, again, you need to get across the road. I go, sir, I'm moving. You can visibly tell I'm moving just fine. He looks over his shoulder. You see the one guy that we have plenty of pictures of who's not a cop. No police officer in the world stands like that ready to shoot somebody for no reason. Because all the other cops aren't standing like these other fellas that have the earpiece, no name tags, and they're holding their weapons constantly. That man is posted up. You see him? I saw the other guy posted up again through the video, not in real time because I'm looking through my camera. The police officer then looks over his shoulder, sees those two gentlemen are in place. 10:15. 4 officers swarm on me and scoop me up, throw me in the car, and take me off to jail where subject to grabbing of the genitals, thumb in the anus, you name it. There's no reason to have 5 pat-downs. I understand the pat-down here. I understand it. I understand the pat-down when you get to the premises. What I don't understand is the pat-down under supervision the entire time, under lockdown, why the 3rd pat-down required, after I was instructed how the pat-down would go down. The back of the hand, back of the thigh, back of the hand, inside of the thigh, no invasiveness. He palms from underneath down, grabs my genital, pulls down, then gives me a shove with the thumb. You know, after that guy steps away, another officer, for whatever reason, says, "Oh, we'll give you another one. I didn't see you get patted down." So he pushes me against the wall. Once again, I get the underneath genital, and that he got a hold of me, and I pushed back. You know, he got it's a natural reaction. As soon as I did that, he pushed my hips forward, and he went forward over the top and did say, "Oh, I thought I felt something." He knows what he felt. He knows exactly what he did.
Wow.
I go over, I get my forced inoculation.
So what happened? They took a needle and stuck it into your arm, and
right
you were
here.
Okay.
Right here. That's a TB shot for absolutely no reason.
Camera here. It's hard. Here, let me actually just zoom in. It's a lot easier for me to do that. Yeah, here. Oh, I got it. Oh, hey, thanks. All right, so we're gonna zoom in here. If you can see that mark there is red, and I can tell you from me being here in person, it is definitely a mark that you would get when you have a shot or you're inoculated. Okay, so Oop, there's my second camera.
There's actually a prick mark here. It's red.
So what did they tell you that, did they ask you if you were submitting to this inoculation?
She told me I had to take it. I said, do I have to? And she said, well, no, you don't have to, but then we're going to put you in that cell by yourself. You won't be able to bond out because you're not going to receive a phone call. You won't be able to speak to any legal representation. You'll see the judge in the morning. Then we're going to put you back in that room until your court date, which I believe, and she didn't have the court date, but it's July 11th. So they were going to put me in a cell, supposedly, by myself. Again, that's when the cameras are gone. They barely had any cameras in there anyway, but I had no choice. I said, I am not submitting to this. I put my arm out. I would not watch. I said, I am not submitting to this. I do not want this to happen. Bink. She gets me.
Did they tell you what it was?
TB.
A tuberculosis test?
Tuberculosis test. Saying that she was going to be somehow able to read it right then, which a nurse here has already said.
It takes several days. I've had 2 tuberculosis tests because I had to volunteer at a hospital, and they told me it takes several days for those results to come through.
I just learned that today. I knew that last night just by the way I was being. You know when you're being lied to. You know exactly when something's going on that shouldn't be. It's a moral right and wrong that all of us have. After she sicks me, it's 30 seconds before I taste whatever that was on my tongue. The other gentleman arrested with me can vouch for this 100%. He saw it immediately. I was gagging.
Wait, so the other gentleman arrested was also vaccinated or given this tuberculosis test?
Yes, he was.
Is
wow.
he here today?
He was. Again, he's been around. You'll see him in the Ron Paul shirt, Eric Clark, another patriot. Good man yesterday. Did his best he could, but they tortured a 55-year-old. They didn't molest him. They came after me for that business. As far as I'm concerned, I didn't see anything, but they kept us separated for a reason. That's the best tactic they can do is isolation.
So you tasted something on your tongue after the vaccination?
I've had plenty of shots from the
after
military
shot?
before.
What kind of taste?
Metallic like I was licking metal, like I licked some silver. You know, like a nickel. If you were to lick like a nickel, that same kind of taste. Within 5 minutes, I have a titanium plate here, here, and here. My eye begins to pound in a way. I get migraines once in a while. Nothing like this ever before. It literally was shutting me down. They asked me to move, and when I stood up, I'm like, I'm dry heaving. Sir, can I get some water? No. You can't have any water. This is 3 hours from time being to time here. Can I just get some water? I don't feel very well right now. Okay, come here. Puts me against the wall yet again for yet another pat down.
This is after the TB?
This is after the TB. So-called, my DNA, whatever they injected me with yesterday, because she told me they weren't going to inject me with anything. It was a choice of 2 evils yesterday. Do I make the phone call to get out of here, or do I sit in the cell by myself contemplating what's going to happen to me if I stay in here any longer? At least if I get out after this, I got a shot at protecting myself or not being poisoned somehow.
So what was the reason that they said that they were going to keep you in the cell?
If I did not take this shot, I would not be offered a phone call, I would not be offered any legal representation, and I would sit in the cell by myself. Yep, I was told I could not make any phone call to any lawyer. I could call the bondsman.
They didn't tell you why that was the case?
Nope, they took away my every right. They know that I'm from Oregon. Everyone I would need to call, how do you make the call? You have to do it collect where they can listen in. I didn't want to jeopardize anybody at the house. I called one person. I had them take care of it. And that, again, that's just adding another person to the system who you call for help. But it got me out at midnight. It got me to where I could record everything in detail on paper. And here we are today.
Where are the videos up right now? I know I have some of your arrests, but I was not close enough to hear the audio. So
yeah, a couple people. Again, I haven't been doing any of it. I've just been trying to network. That's all I've been trying to do from this point on is get everybody's information, put the billboard down there, a ginormous billboard for a reason. Get everything. I'm going to have a pen and paper before I leave here. Just give me everything you have. Anything about the arrest. They're trumped up charges. We already know that. I'm not worried about it. What I don't want is I already know that the man that was grabbed here, the innocent guy that didn't do anything today, was bumped off the curb, just walking up, had no idea what's going on. He was taken. He'll also be given the shot if he does. He'll be given the shot. Same with that lady. you're given this shot. You will not be released unless you take this shot.
Now, I'm being told here that refusal would mean that they wouldn't let you back into the general population, presumably under the idea that you might be contagious with something of that nature, but I still don't understand why you were refused legal representation.
But I was not allowed, I was not read my rights. Nobody was read their rights.
I'll get you.
Nobody was read their rights, which when I asked the magistrate about that, he said, "You're not charged yet until I make until I give the probable cause, but I'm in cuffs, detained." So he used the word detained, but then after, not arrested, but then they read off the charges of putting me in jail and processing me. Again, I'm not read any sort of rights because I'm told in the Commonwealth of Virginia they don't have to. That's direct verbatim from the police officer and the magistrate that was on duty. They do not have to. Just like the alcohol. They don't have, I demanded a breathalyzer test. Demanded it. I asked nicely, was laughed at. Oh, we don't have to do that. The officer here said you're drunk. You're visibly upset. Well, upset and drunk are two different things. Take me to the breathalyzer test and I'll blow 0-0 right now. I'm not the judge. I don't take on any evidence. But wait, you listen as a checks and balances to the officer and the civilian. So I'm a civilian, no record. Another elderly gentleman, no record. Witness, 2 against 1. Officer makes up a fabricated story. He didn't hear us.
What was the officer's story?
The officer's story was, as I just told her, that I stepped in front of a vehicle. I looked over my shoulder and was told to move, get out of the way. I disregarded the order and stood right in front of the vehicle, and then they came up to grab me. When they grabbed me, I resisted.
Quote, resisted.
Which is now disorderly conduct because they were trying to be nice. And then, as I'm being drug away, you get the 2 officers laughing, and they're, "Oh, you smell that alcohol? Woo! Got somebody intoxicated over here."
I've probably seen that.
So what really happened, and what I witnessed at least, was that you were stepping across the street, taking some photos. You took 1 step backwards, and the police officer came up behind you, and then all of a sudden you were being detained, and it looked like you were being arrested.
They can get me for not moving if they stop you from moving. It's a catch-22. I knew it as soon as he was walking towards me. I'm not going to stop moving. I understand that. I told him that. You hear me on my own video saying, "Okay, just answer my question, sir. I'll keep moving, but answer my question. What is illegal about going corner to corner? Does a pedestrian have the right-of-way in the Commonwealth of Virginia?" As far as I know, that car has to stop and not use it to scare me out of the way, which was happening, and I got fed up with it because the police officers, if they're not going to do anything about vehicular assault, I'm going to document it, which again, I have on video when I started yelling, "Hey,
I saw a gentleman that was almost hit by that last van. Was that you?
Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So how am I standing in front of the car that came right by, the van or whatever the heck it was, the SUV type. Not sure van SUV, but it was the big rig.
Yeah, it was the
stepped off to the side, and that, like I said, when you see it on video, better than anything, you see the crowd shift, you see him look over, you see him pinwheel over. I thought people were behind me. I was very, very sadly mistaken.
Yeah.
They separate. That's the true snatch and grab.
Where will that video be uploaded to? Do you have that video?
Your video that you were taking.
My video, I'll put it on my Facebook. That's
what's
really
your
the only. G.Cavett at
Facebook.
What's that? CAV as in Victor ETT. But again, everything.
Go ahead and make it public so we can watch at least just the video. Don't make your whole Facebook public if it isn't already.
No.
But just make that video public so that we can share that. I also got video of what happened from beginning to end. I don't know how clear the quality is. I'll have to review. I haven't reviewed my footage yet, but if I do have anything, I'll definitely forward it your way.
Yes, I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody that's here. Again, they're doing it to themselves. There's more media here than there's ever been coverage, and we got it all. We have it from the angles. We have, exactly what they're doing wrong, why we're here. Yeah. They're doing it to themselves.
Yeah.
And like I told everybody, I understand what it means to have a mortgage and a car payment, taking care of your kids. It's not the right answer if you're trapped. You're trapped, you're not living.
Have you talked to the Oath Keepers about this yet?
A little bit, not much. Again, I was very unfamiliar even with what the Oath Keepers were.
Exactly what they do.
See, and there you go. So I sat down a little bit, but the gentleman was in the middle of an interview. I didn't want to interrupt, and then it's just been back and forth madness with, as you see, with everybody. Everybody's really pumped up right now. Everybody's really happy that there's so many people here. I couldn't be happier. Like right now, again, from Oregon, for a reason, to see it for myself. there you go, firsthand.
Where in Oregon are you from?
From Portland.
From Portland, me as well.
Really?
You're actually you're live on Occupy Portland right now. So.
Thank you. Thank you. My home state, I cannot believe it. Thank you. That's amazing.
Absolutely. So why did you come such a long way?
For every soldier that's trapped, for every police officer, because I do have a couple that are soldiers, they're citizen soldiers in the National Guard. You guys know who you are. I'm sorry. We know you're trapped. We know it's a system. The more of you that do what we're doing now, the better. That's why I'm here. It's just because it cost so much to get here. It cost everything we had. We were going to come 8 deep in a van. Couldn't afford to because people would have lost their jobs, which there goes their house. It's a system. It's a system where you don't do what you're told, you'll lose everything. There's a reason for it. It's control. It's just a solid control measure. The only reason I'm able to come is because the other people that covered down for me back in Portland, and I thank every one of you. You all know what you're doing right now to protect my interests, and I thank you. Thank every one of you for being there for me. All the phone calls last night with my phone being dead, the fact that every one of you knew that something happened that I didn't cause, that shows the utmost integrity and loyalty for all my fellow Oregonians that know me personally. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much, and I wish you the best, and we'll swap some information.
Yes,
and
definitely.
Hopefully
Thank you very
keep
much.
in touch. I mean, you're from the hometown.
Yes,
so
thank you very
awesome.
much for being
Thank
here,
you
too.
so much. I'm going to shake your hand, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so you guys heard it here. Taken down, arrested, told he was not under arrest, he was being detained, not read any rights, forcefully vaccinated and or tested somehow. That was one of the most disturbing reports I have heard in a very long time about an arrest at a protest. And this is a man who was literally crossing the street taking video, and I thought he was taking photos, but yeah, taking a video account at the time. So this is a citizen journalist just like myself, giving a forceful vaccination. You heard the report of him. God, I can't even imagine having an officer grope your genitals and stick his finger in your anus. That is rape. That is, there's no excuse for that.
Carrie, I have a question for you. I only saw one prick mark. Did you see 3 prick marks or 1 prick mark?
I only saw 1.
Okay, because generally the TB vaccine has it's a small thing, it has 3 short needles you prick, and it's got 3.
I have gotten tuberculosis tests twice before, and both times I had a single prick.
You did have a single
Yeah.
prick.
So,
it's
but
possible that it was quote TB.
I want to say the area around the prick was red, and it looked not like when you're reacting to a TB test. If you don't react to a TB test, it's nothing. If you do react, it gets a bubble or a bump, and what I saw was looked like maybe a hive type of reaction,
that's what I would have said too, yeah.
but it wasn't bumpy at all. It was very
it was
flat but red.
Yes, flat
So
and red.
it was not consistent with what I am familiar with, and I've had tuberculosis tests. I also have looked it up extensively because I wanted to know what I should expect, and they give you some information when you get the test to know to come back in if X, Y, and Z happens. So I'm pretty familiar with that, and being charged with obstructing traffic, which he wasn't doing, but he was almost hit by that van. He jumped out of the way. Right. I know, and we got it on film, so that's just...
I'll highlight mine tonight as well.
Absolutely. We're going to go home and do some major work on this story. I just cannot believe just the brutality of it. What, 4 or more pat-downs, one of which an officer's thumb was stuck into his anus? That's rape. There's no other way around it. That is rape.
And rape is about power and domination over another individual, and it will be consistent with that.
That's just so unfortunate. The fact that he is here and sharing his story and still here protesting is just a testament to everything that he stands for. It's just getting the truth out. I have a lot of respect for that gentleman. A lot of respect for that gentleman. I just can't even... So yes, he was charged with 3 things: disturbing the peace, resisting arrest, and disorderly conduct, none of which he was guilty of. I watched the entire thing happen. I also got it on film. If somebody wants to go to my videos and try to find that arrest, I would be really grateful. Try to make a highlight and go ahead and highlight it right before the incident, so that everyone else can look at it. If that doesn't get done, I'll go ahead and do it myself tonight. But since I'm going to be streaming for quite a few more hours here, it'd be really great if one of you guys could do that. So yeah, I noticed there's a lot more of you joining right now. So you just missed a great account of what happened from the gentleman himself. It was not an eyewitness account this time. It was the man himself who was arrested yesterday from Oregon. And he was arrested, threatened, groped, given a forced vaccination, which he had a prick on his arm and a red spot around it. He said he felt ill. He started to dry heave. After that, yeah, these guys are hilarious. Yes, they forced a vaccine on him. They threatened him, telling him that he would not be receiving a phone call. He would not get legal representation. He would be locked in a cell for an unknown period of time, because they didn't know when his court date was set for, and that he would be... Yes, I know. I realize. You're right. I should not be saying vaccination. He was given what was called a tuberculosis test. But essentially, his arm was pricked with a needle without his consent, and it is not consistent with with the tuberculosis tests that I have seen. When your arm is pricked for TB, you either don't react at all, or you get a bump or a bubble, something that does not look consistent with what his arm looks like. His arm looks like there's a rash, a small rash around the area. So, still very disturbing. And he was denied legal counsel. He was told he was not under arrest. So that's just really, really scary. I find it interesting that out of the 3 arrests, 2 yesterday and 1 today, oh no, I'm sorry, 2 yesterday and 2 today, we have at least 2 confirmed journalists. So half of those being arrested were journalists, very clearly doing their job. The one gentleman that you heard just a moment ago, the vet. Yes, I'm reading your comments here. Those. I sort of fear for the 2 that were arrested today. I also heard that the other gentleman that was arrested, Eric, I didn't catch his last name, but you guys heard it earlier. He was also given that test and or vaccination. I've never heard of that. I've been to a lot of protests. I've definitely heard of a lot of people getting arrested for different things in the protest, and no matter what the charges, I've never heard of someone getting, a finger in the anus or being vaccinated against their will. So, or given some kind of needle in the arm, be what it may, against their will. Yeah. We have some viewers here saying they've been arrested without ever giving a shot. Really disturbing. I'm going to turn off my backup here.